Hey, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Another subscriber request here for a 20-minute vid review on the Tier 10 Bat Chat. Probably not going to be 20 minutes, but I am compiling a tips and tricks playlist. If you're struggling with a tank, shoot over there. Hopefully there's some aspect or a tank I've gone over that could help you with the game. So going right into the Bat Chat, the thing about the Bat Chat, kind of very similar to the Leopard, is it has no armor. You cannot put yourself in a position to rely on armor at all. You are a light tank, you still need to put yourself in effective spotting positions so you can start spotting the enemy, which is going to help give you data to understand how to maneuver and make your way around the map, along with helping your team understand where the enemy lineup is so they can position themselves much more quickly against the enemy. Now you'll notice here I went to a location behind a bush, a spotting area behind a bush, and when you use bushes, that actually helps increase your camo rating or efficiency. Now the second you take a shot, your camo rating drops, and most likely you're going to want to get out of that position or in cover immediately, because then you will most likely be spotted. Here I'm so much trying to use the landscape, and you'll notice that a lot. You have to use the landscape as almost more of your armor. You have to think of the landscape like that, in those terms, that it is like your armor. You don't ever want to expose yourself completely against a tank's cannon or be the center of attention. And I talk about this in my other tips and tricks videos when it comes to playing a tank like the Bat Chat or a light or medium tank, but more so with a light tank, is you really have to know when it's okay to engage and when it's really important to disengage. So when I'm the center of attention or focus on an enemy and they're all pointing their cannons at me, that is a good indicator that I need to disengage, meaning I need to reroute, I need to move, I need to go to a different location. And I'm constantly putting myself in a place where I can support my team. I'm trying to look for distracted targets. The Bat Chat, kind of like the Leopard, is a very opportunistic tank. They're still played with slightly different just because of gun depression and some other slight things, but you'll notice even for right here, I'm being very conscious of my surroundings, where the enemy is. This mouse, even though it may look like would have been great for me to go down and go and get rid of him, that would have been the case, but that Ho-Ri being with him would have absolutely gotten me wrecked. So that is not the position I could have put myself in, but it would have been great for me to go in after him if that Ho-Ri wasn't even there, especially with that Waffenträger there to support him. So making sure you use the landscape, you're spotting, you're not ever tunnel visioning, you're always paying attention to the map on where your team is and where the enemy is. And when you know those two things, that'll help you make a decision on where to advance to and go to next. The thing about a light tank too is people can get a little too aggressive with the tank and too anxious. Your adrenaline's going, and they can just quickly put themselves in a really bad position just thinking, oh, I've got the speed maneuverability, I got this, and you can really get yourself killed. It's okay. You'll notice even in these two replays, it's okay to just stop and think, look around the map, and make that decision next on where to go that would be safe, effective, either coming up on an enemy's flank, looking for those distracted targets, and looking for those weak links within your enemy and in your team lineup. So if you notice that there's a weak link in the enemy lineup and your team's going, you can support them, go around those distracted targets and destroy them. And then if there's more of an area that maybe your team needs support, you can try to do that as well, but you're always, once again, trying to use the landscape. So here, even with this mouse, I needed to get in. I have two teammates that are low in health, and even getting along the side of an enemy like this, he's very tall. I can go back and forth just riding along the side of the tank. It makes it very, very difficult for him to penetrate me. not even penetrate, but just very difficult for him to even get a shot off of me. So that also really helps, is by getting along the side of tanks and then using just your compactness of the bat chat and then moving back and forth. Now, the other differentiator between the Leopard and the bat chat is an auto loader. You'll notice even through these replays, I'm not waiting to use or empty, all my rounds before having to reload. So here I'm getting once again into an effective spotting position, trying to use a bush. I'm looking over, and then from this angle and position, I should be starting to detect enemies going along this side. This is telling me and also helping my team know that there's nobody on this side. So now we can advance, my team can reposition themselves a lot sooner, and here we are now starting to spot the enemy. And one of the things that is really helpful, you'll notice I'm trying to track this destroyer. If I can track him, I could have got another shell in, and that really helps. But going back to the auto loader is when you're disengaged, you don't have any shots, you can go ahead and reload that clip. You want to be fully reloaded. And then when it's time to engage, you can clip out the enemy and then go back into a safe position. Whereas the Leopard, you just have that consistent same DPM. And so the other thing that's really important to know when playing the bat chat is you'll notice that I use my third person view a lot to try to look around before popping out, because that'll help me a ton in making that decision whether it's safe to pop out and take a shot at the target or not. Here, the base is actually in danger of being captured, so I want to quickly go past, get a shot out, and try to reset that cap just to keep us and the team in the game. So as the bat chat, that's super helpful, especially when there's a base, you have that speed. Using your speed and your maneuverability is one of your huge assets. So here, once again, I'm using my third person view. I see that E50 and I back away as he takes a shot. But anyway, your speed and your maneuverability are one of the huge benefits that you have in using your bat chat. And one of the things I talk about in my tips and tricks videos is always putting yourself in a position to utilize your strengths and putting your enemies in a position that are going to expose their weaknesses. So you have to understand your tank strengths, your enemy's weaknesses, and that'll help you make some of these judgment calls while you're playing the game. So even right here, even though the Super Conqueror would have great armor frontally against me, I was able to safely get behind an area just behind him, and it made his armor absolutely useless. And I knew I could push right there because the E50M and hopefully I was hoping wasn't gonna push, but I had a lot of teammates there in the front to also protect me if he were to advance. So once again, making data decisions on where to go from one place to the next, understanding you and your team's lineup. So anyway, Muffin here, hope this helps. Stay cool and keep tanking.